Hi, ladies. I'm here. It's Beth from Be Styled, and it's time for Tipsy Tuesday. And today we are talking about how to shop budget sites and find some great pieces, but still feel like you look stylish and elevated and sophisticated and polished. Okay? Because it can be done. It can go bad very easily, but it can be done, and it can be done well. And I want to share, I have, I think, 9 tips here to help as you shop these very popular, very budget-friendly clothing sites. You know, probably my weakness, my go-to is Amazon. I confess, sometimes I feel like I have a problem, like I have to really stop myself. You know, you see the influencers, they do such a great job of making these items look so amazing, and it's so easy to just, comment link or whatever and end up, and then you say, oh, it's from Amazon. Like, then you start to get into this mindset, like it's from Amazon. It's practically free. Why would I not buy it? And then you click and buy, and I've been guilty of it, and I know a lot of us are guilty of it. It's probably going to be one of those things down the road that we're all going to have to like get therapy for, or hypnotized for, to break this habit. But I'm here to help you just sort of make better choices, not make the impulsive click and buy, because that's the easiest way to end up with a packed closet full of nothing to wear and a lot of crippy crap. One of my favorite, Pam from I Pick Paint, uses that term, crippy. I think it's crippy crap. You don't want a closet full of crippy crap. But I'm also sensitive that times are tough. Clothes are expensive. We don't have a ton of extra money to spend on clothes a lot of the time, and you still want to feel great. So I want to share ways to do that on a budget and kind of cheat a little bit. You can create looks that can look very expensive and very elevated without spending a fortune. And so here are some ways to do it. I want to start with, this is actually all going to be in a blog post. This is such important information, and I have lots of links to share. I'm actually going to write it out this week, and it's going to go out in my Sunday newsletter. So make sure you're subscribing to that. It's the link should be here to subscribe, because I want to really give you this information. I think it's so valuable, okay? And make it easy to go back and reference. So it'll be on my website. But I did years ago a graphic that showed things to spend on, not necessarily splurge, but things to actually, focus your hard-earned dollars on and look for quality and spend the most you actually can spend, versus things that are to just save on, not to spend a lot of money on. And I'm going to read it. It hasn't really changed. I'm just going to update it, and I'm going to include that in this blog post. But just to give you a rundown of my thoughts on that, the things that I personally like to spend as much as I can on, and I like to really look for the best quality that I can afford, are things like blazers, jackets, outerwear, that kind of thing. Knitwear. I used to buy a lot of Amazon sweaters. Now I've almost sworn them off, with a couple exceptions. I want to share with you how to find knitwear on places like Amazon. Pants and denim, especially if you're tough to fit. If it's hard for you to find pants that fit, I always say, whenever I work with a client, I always say, let's start with the pants, because they're the hardest. Pants and shoes are the hardest. So if you have a difficult feet and you're difficult to fit pants, that's where you need to spend your money, and you don't need a lot. You could get by in life with 4 pairs of pants. I've said that since the beginning of my business. 4 pairs of pants that fit you really well can get you through life really fine, okay? But they need to be good, and a lot. If you're tough to fit, cheap pants that you buy on Amazon and you're buying and returning, and they're not petite and you're a petite, it's just a big waste of time and money. So pants fall into that spend category. And probably the category of, if you're difficult, you got to go to the store and do the work. It's no fun, I know. And if you're local to me, I'm happy to help. And then I can help virtually as well. And then shoes also. I don't believe in having a Melda Marcos shoe closets unless you have a Melda Marcos budget. If you're on a limited budget, you don't need a lot of shoes, but you need a couple pairs of good quality shoes. And there are some ways to find them on Amazon. I'll share that. And then finally, bras, especially, doesn't really apply to me because I have such small boobies. But if you have a large chest, you got to spend money on a good bra. and that kind of goes without saying. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but if you have, especially as we age, you got to lift the girls up. That's going to change your whole appearance. And you need the machinery, you need the technology, you need the fitting for a good bra. A cheap bra, if you have a large chest, is not doing you any favors. It's not doing your back favors. It's not doing your shoulder. You got to go get fitted for and have a couple good bras, and you have to replace them, especially if you're large. Okay, so those are my spend categories. Now for my save categories. Athleisure, workout clothes. I have never owned a pair of Lululemon anything. I spend money on some things. Athletic wear, I don't. I have found some incredible athletic wear on Amazon, and if you go, I'll share my link to my Amazon storefront, but it's all in there. In fact, I have a category on my Amazon storefront where I dump everything, all my favorite things that I wear from all these categories. I will share that link. But athletic wear, I don't think it's necessary to spend a lot of money. All right, you can, and I also don't think it's necessary to have a ton of it. We have way too much of it. You need some cute athletic wear outfits so that you are looking forward to getting dressed into your workout wear, but you don't need to spend a fortune. I think it's kind of a waste to spend a fortune. Next, tees and tops, t-shirts, and even blouses. Special blouses don't apply. If it's a special blouse, a statement blouse, you're not going to find one of those on Amazon for $19.99. You're probably not. But your t-shirts, your casual layering pieces, you can find those inexpensively. Costume jewelry, fashion jewelry. It's great to have some heirloom pieces or pieces that that are real. But it's fun to layer on the costume jewelry. You want good costume jewelry that looks good but is inexpensive. I talk about Flirty Finds all the time. That's my source. But you don't need to spend a fortune. You don't need to spend $150 on a costume necklace, because if you're doing that, you're probably paying for the brand, unless it's 18 karat gold plated versus the true costume. And there, I'm all for doing that too. If you have a brand of really high end jewelry, costume, fashion jewelry, and you don't wear it, you don't switch it out a lot, then that's probably a good investment. But if you like to wear different things all the time, fashion jewelry is a great way to save. Occasion bags. By that, I mean any kind of really occasion things. I don't mean the actual dress that you're going to wear to a wedding. That would fall into spend. You don't need a lot, but you need a good dress. But like the handbag that you carry, you don't need to go buy a Louis Vuitton night bag, or Chanel evening bag. A cute, inexpensive bag. These are the two I have from my Flirty Finds. I just picked up this one. I've had this one for ages. It looks like a designer. It's spectacular. It's not crippy crap. It's not cheapy. It's probably, I think it's on her site now for maybe $60 minus 20% with code fall20. But it's the only one I need, and I'll have it for the rest of my life. You don't need to collect evening bags, but you do need one, maybe two good ones. But you don't need to spend a fortune on it. And then we're not in summer now, but summer dresses, t-shirt dresses and sundresses that you get sweaty, that you get sunscreen on, and bathing suit cover-ups, things like that. Save. Amazon is a great source for those kind of inexpensive dresses. But now let's talk about when you're actually going to shop for these things. Some things to consider. First of all, I'm going to sound boring, and I'm going to sound like the boring teacher, but if you're buying really inexpensive clothing, your best bet is to stay with simple, classic silhouettes. Okay? Basics up with clean lines. You're going to avoid anything extra, the decorations. Even if you see it on an influencer and it looks adorable, she's a pro, and she's probably styling it in a way. Use your judgment. Get what you like, but at the end of the day, if it has, like lace sleeves or ultra puffy here and big gold buttons, and it's very inexpensive, it's not going to stand the test of time, and it's going to look cheap. That's just my opinion. Okay, so think simple, 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 and I'm going to show some examples here along these same lines. The next one, another unpopular opinion for a lot of you probably, is the deeper And the darker the color, the easier it is to get away with the inexpensive, you know, makemanship. That's not the word. Like the way the item is made. You can get you know, they can cut corners when it's on it's a dark color. All these notifications. Darker, deeper colors. Doesn't mean you have to only wear black and gray. But if you're, you know, buying something and it comes in those darker colors, even if it's like a deep wine, versus, you know, like a bubblegum pink or like a bright yellow. I mean, we're in fall, so you're not really buying those colors anyway. But the deeper, darker colors are going to look more sophisticated. Navy, charcoal, tan, black. And you can buy a very inexpensive piece, and it can look, you would have no way of knowing that it was from Amazon and not you know, a more expensive brand, because it's the darker color and it's the simple line. So that's key. Stick to small prints or prints with 1 or 2 colors. The more you get into lots of color and lots of big patterns on anything, but especially an inexpensive piece you know, from an Amazon or a Walmart or Target, it's the less it's not going to last as long. You might get one wear out of it because you love the pattern and it's great, and then it's going to lose its impact. It's going to be a waste of money. Save your $19.99, stash that money away, or $29.99, and save it for, you know, something different, something that's more that's going to give you stand the test of time and not look inexpensive, even if it is. Okay, big bold patterns are hard to pull off in these really inexpensive, you know, product lines. They don't do it well. You know, if you're going to a boutique or a more expensive brand, you have a better chance of it working. Check your fabric content. I'm not a pro on fabric content, but you want to avoid things that are thin and wrinkle really easily, especially if you live in a humid area and you don't want to be wearing like polyester pants that get wrinkled the minute you sit down, and the humidity and they're sticking to you. Skip that. You know, go with your more natural fibers. The really thin, you know, polyester type fabrics just are going to get wrinkled and they're going to look less expensive. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to call over and over again. Hopefully he figures out it's Tuesday. Okay, things like, so with flimsy pots, you want, you know, some things like cotton blends or even rayon. Rayon viscose is another word for rayon, especially if it's mixed with some cotton. I have a sweater here that I believe is made out of that. That's great. I got it on Amazon, and it's a fantastic fabric. You know, but knits that are 100% acrylic are going to get very pilled looking easily. This is a cotton viscose blend from Amazon. It's just a cardigan. It's hard to tell in black. It doesn't have any it doesn't have crazy buttons. It just has just simple tortoise buttons that are pretty classic. This sweater looks just like one you'd see at the Gap or at Quince or Nordstrom, but it's from Amazon. I'm going to link it. It's the Illusory brand. Okay. But it's black. It's not, you know, hot pink necessarily. Although in a hot pink or wine, this in like a deep wine would be great. But I wouldn't get it in like a pale pink, to be honest. It would just, it's not that time of year anyway, but it's just going to look less luxe in those pastel-y colors. Okay, so fabric content, sweaters and knits, we're picking those carefully, thinking about more natural fibers, you know, even if it's a blend with some cotton and wool, cotton blends, just the smallest percentage of acrylic as you can get away with. Know the best budget brands. I'm going to share that in the blog post. I've figured out, you know, a lot of us already have. There are certain brands on Amazon that are better than others. There are certain brands, you know, the only one I ever would consider at Walmart personally, because I don't shop Walmart, just because I don't ever go there. I would go to Target before I'd go to Walmart. I had a really bad Walmart experience when I was younger, and I just don't go online there. I don't shop there, but I know their Scoop brand gets a lot of great press. Target has A New Day. They do a good job. But know the brands that are better. Amazon Essentials, they knock off J. Crew all day long, like for the men's pants, Amazon Essentials. CRZ Yoga on Amazon is very similar to Lululemon. fantastic workout clothes, and one of my favorite brands for like joggers, sports bras, sports tanks, things like that. But I'm going to list all those in my blog post, so we know the brands. Now, the number one thing I would recommend, it's kind of like when you're decorating your house, what I was always taught when you're decorating your house. I love to find bargains, but you don't want your whole house to be filled with bargains and things from Target and Amazon. You need to mix in, the good expensive couch or the great coffee table, and then you can mix in the less expensive things and they start to look expensive because they're with the foundation of quality, good basics. Same thing applies to your wardrobe. So start with your basics, spend the most you can on those basics. And the basics for you are going to be different than the basics for me, and the next person who works in an office. Things like black pants. Maybe the woman that goes to an office is spending money on a beautiful pair of black trousers. Maybe if you're home all day, you're buying the best black lounge pants or joggers that you can buy. For me, I wear jeans all day, so maybe I'm wearing the best pair of black jeans I can buy. So your basics, you want to really focus on those first, and then you can mix in, once you have your basic foundations, you can mix in your great jeans with your inexpensive, this is a Amazon Essentials t-shirt. I buy them in packs of 2. And when they get stained, there's like $15 for 2, I think. When they get stained or they get sunscreen on it, I donate. I recycle the t-shirt, but I get rid of it. I recycle the fabric, but I get rid of it and I just replace it because I don't feel like that's wasteful because it's a white t-shirt. And I'm a disaster when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm not spending $40 on a white t-shirt that I'm going to wreck in less than one season. Okay. So, but the key is, I'm mixing and matching it in. I've got my inexpensive necklace from Flirty Finds that's it's her horse bit gold necklace. Simple, it could be a very expensive necklace for anything we know. Between you and me, it was probably $38, okay? I've got my $15 t-shirt, probably less. I have a pair of Cabby jeans. I like to spend money on jeans, but I am going to show you a pair of Amazon jeans. I've found a couple good pairs on Amazon. I have a statement belt that, in the past, I never would have spent, $100 on a belt, but I wear this almost every single day. And I've had cheap, I hate to use the word cheap, I've had inexpensive fake leather Amazon belts, and I've recommended them. And some of them are really good. They can look really good as long as they're really simple. But a belt like this, if you were to buy it on Amazon, would be a train wreck because it's not simple. It's got details. If you want to buy an Amazon belt, you want to get solid black, solid tan, and the most simple buckle possible. And then you can do that. But if you want something special, you're going to have to pay for it in order for it to not look cheap. And then a jacket, I do like to spend money on jackets, and this jacket I just loved. It's got sweater on this side, it's sweater material, so it's comfortable, and then it's suede, and this is from Cabby. It's a new release, but it's more of a boutique piece. It's probably, I think it was $200. But let me show you another alternative of a blazer that is from Amazon that I've had for years, and a lot of you probably have, and it's a great blazer. It's fully lined. It comes in a bunch of colors. It comes in, I think it even comes in a plaid. It might even come in black leather now. It's from The Drop, which is an Amazon brand that sometimes gets a little wacky because it's influencer driven, and a lot of it, not wacky, but it can be kind of young and very high fashion, but it's fun to look at. And it's decent. It's decent quality. I mean, this blazer is great quality. You would never know I was wearing an Amazon blazer, right? So it's got padded shoulders. It's got good workmanship, as far as I can tell. Just it doesn't feel or look cheap to me. Where are my notes so I don't go off the rail? But my point was, I'm mixing all this in, and then I would throw in they're Blondo booties, so they're not high fashion booties, but they're not. They're a mid-level, whatever, in terms of expense. But they're nice looking and they're modern, and I would throw those on, or my gold ballet flats. So for shoes, I like to have fewer but the better. And for me, I never spend more than like $150 ever on a pair of shoes. So that could be considered budget for some people. For me, that's like my range. But the idea is to mix it all in. So you're not head to toe Target, head to toe Amazon, head to toe Walmart. Mix it in, especially your basics. Okay. Now, here are some things I recommend avoiding from these very inexpensive, from really going inexpensive, okay? Faux leather and faux suede can be, if you find it and it's great, I'd love to know. I mean, maybe Scoop from Walmart might be able to pull it off, but it can be really cheap looking. It can be shiny. It can be very pleathery looking. You're better off going on, Poshmark or a place like Quince, Quince. I'll link that site. Their whole thing is that they figured out how to recreate luxury looking pieces using sustainable manufacturing and materials and fabrics at a fraction of the price of luxury retailers, because they're not selling to Saks and Bloomingdale's and Anthropologie. They're selling directly to you and to me. They're going from their warehouse to the consumer, so they're able to do it less expensively. It's one of my absolute favorite brands, especially for basics. Cashmere sweaters, cotton sweaters, silk blouses, silk skirts, silk dresses, washable silk, leather handbags, shoes, loafers. It's a great source for those basics that are not going to be cheap, but they're also not going to be, Saks, Bloomingdale's, Rag and Bone expensive, but they're going to have that kind of tailoring. Speaking of Rag and Bone, another idea is these, secondhand sites like a Poshmark. I sell things on Poshmark a lot. I sell a lot of my cabbie samples on Poshmark at the end of the season. So I always have like money in my account. And this season, last spring actually, I was in the market for I wanted a cream seasonless year-round blazer. I wanted it to be double breasted. I wanted gold buttons, and I wanted it to be like the only one I ever have to buy for the rest of my life. And I found this Rag and Bone, which is, that's a very, very good brand in blazers, on Poshmark. I got it it retails for $650. Is that right? Yes. It has the tag on. $650. I got it for $185, even with the tag on, in perfect condition. To me, that is smart and a great investment. And down the road, if I decide I'm not wearing it, I could resell it again. And I might even be able to get the same $185 back if I keep it in good condition. Okay? So that's that. That's another. What other examples did I have to show you? I showed you the black sweater. I'm going to probably quit for now. Yeah, I think that's all I have for now. I'm going to see if anyone has any questions. But definitely make sure, I think everyone who's here is probably on my list, because I'm going to oh wait, I didn't finish my list. I was telling things not to buy inexpensively. Sorry. So faux leather, faux suede. Footwear. If you have bad feet, we've talked about this. Budget shoes often lack support. They're not durable. Sometimes they can look frumpy. So fewer shoes, better shoes. Outerwear, coats, jackets. The better the tailoring, the better the look. And sometimes you have to pay a little bit more for that. So I wouldn't start my search on, Amazon for a winter coat, for example. Let's see. Here's another place not to really chintz out. And I'm in this mode right now because I've got a black tie wedding to go to for Jamie's son in January in Miami. And I've been ordering all kinds of dresses, formal and dresses. They run the gamut, but you can find them on Amazon. I wouldn't start there unless it's an emergency and it's just a one-off and you just need a dress. if it's a dress that you want to be able to wear to, if you have kids that are going to have friends, I think just a perfect dress for you. Spend the money on it. If you don't know people at the other wedding, you're just going to rewear it. I think rewearing dresses like that, formal dresses, is absolutely fine. Of course, if sometimes you want something new, then you can look at something like Rent the Runway. I have a dress lined up for Rent the Runway, but I want to have a dress in my hand in case the Rent the Runway dress doesn't work. So I've been ordering dresses. But shop the sales and know what brands work for you, and again, just have that one or two great formal dresses. Look at your calendar and see when you need them for. And then find friends. Find friends that are the same size. I have a good friend. We have these two great dresses. I'm wearing one in Miami for a different event that weekend that we share. We share these dresses. For formal dresses, you don't need a collection of them unless you're very fancy, in which case, have fun. I'm jealous. Okay, next are structured bags. Bags they've gotten much better. They meaning these, I don't know, faux leather bags. They've gotten much better at making inexpensive bags. Target has one that a customer of mine got in like a deep, dark olive green. Again, stick to the dark neutrals. And she showed it to me on a call yesterday. We had a one-on-one power hour call. And she was like this, and I was like, I wasn't touching it. I had her describe things. It looked so beautiful. And I think she got it for $30 at Target. So you don't have to tell anyone that, but you're going to wear it in a way with all your other things that look polished and great. It's not going to look like a cheap bag. But for the most part, a really structured handbag, if you want just one good one, again, check the sales, check the resale sites. I think it's nice to have one really high quality bag, or go on Quince where they have Italian leather bags for a fraction of what you'd pay for a big time designer. I think we're all over the whole have to have certain designers thing. I know I never really got caught up in that. I think that can be a waste of money just to have someone's logo on your bag. Like, who cares? We're not kids anymore, right? Anyway, but that's a total personal, no judgment at all. That's a personal preference, of course. But anyway, so spending money on these things I just talked about, the faux leather, the suede, footwear, outerwear, formal dresses, structured bags, it's just going to be it's a surefire way of adding some sophistication to your look. And it's, again, that less is more. You don't need a lot. So focus on quality, not quantity. I can say that till I'm blue in my face. I need to remind myself as well. It's easy to just be like, oh, it's so cute though, and it's only $19. But those $19 add up. And you could add up all those $19 and buy something for $100 that you'll love, that will look so much better and fit in your closet better than all those $19.99 pieces that are going to start to look tired and dated quickly. Okay, so that's my lecture for today. If you have any questions, please just post them below, and stay tuned for my blog post about all this, and I will post links to the things I showed in the first comment of this video when we're done here. Okay? Thanks for being here, ladies. Bye.